my KiwiSaver is about to hit $150,000, and I want to take you through the journey of getting it to 6 figures and what it's done since getting there. I track my KiwiSaver in a template via month end, which I encourage people to do, track your assets and your liabilities, so I can go back and see the movement of it across the different months. And it's a phenomenal data set to have to watch and look at the progress that you've done. So at the end of the month, just like a business does, I suggest that people want to track their assets minus their liabilities. That gives you, in accounting terms, your net worth. It's your position. A statement of financial position is what assets minus liabilities is. Anyone can learn this, and it's really, really fundamental to understand it, because when you go to borrow, a bank will be looking at this: what assets, what liabilities, what income do you have, therefore your borrowing capacity. We live in a debt system, so you want to understand some of these things. But also, clearing debt is a good way for you to then model out the data of doing that, so you can see the progress that you're doing with that, because that's what a lot of people are doing, especially in New Zealand. They're clearing debt. But for me, I'm building assets, and so I want to see, like, what are they doing over time. Now, many years ago, I didn't have much in my KiwiSaver, and I had to rebuild, because I pissed away a lot of my 20s. And so when I got out of credit card debt, I would clear down my credit card and not contribute to my KiwiSaver, which in hindsight, with what I know now, is really dumb, because I would have had better employer matches, and then also, which would give me a guaranteed return, and that would have snowballed over time into a grunty sum of money. And the beautiful thing about contributing at an earlier age is it's got longer to compound, and that's where you get those good gains. But anyway, I pissed away some of my years, and so I had to play catch up, and eventually I had to get into a position to sort out my shit. And I think this is like back in 2020, I might have only had about 30 grand in there, and slowly, I was chipping away, and I modeled it out one day and was like, man, I thought I was going to have way more in there. I always had that mindset of, I'm good at what I do, I'll make a lot of money one day, and I'll be sweet. But I just think KiwiSaver is a component to my retirement plan, my ultimate retirement plan, and it's just another snowball that I would like to roll. So then I come across like Charlie Munger's teaching about stacking 100 grand of something and then watching it roll. And the sooner you can do that in life, the better. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, we don't compound. We save as much as we can, and then we buy a property. So we never really get to see that play out, and that's why we find investors' journeys so fascinating, because we think, man, that looks so simple, but most of us interrupt compounding to start compounding into property instead. But anyway, I had to go on a journey of trying to get my KiwiSaver back in sort of line with where it should have been if I had have been contributing that whole time. And to go back to, say, 2020, I was sitting around 30 grand. Now I'm hopefully just about to go past 5x that, and we're into the 2025 year. But if I take you through some of the numbers, so this is about, I started putting a bit more in to bump up the balance, but I get to about April 2021, and I've got 53 grand in there. For a lot of the time, I was trying to manage my own KiwiSaver. I'd found ways to do that years and years ago. I'm positioning it into gold and shit, which would have been great if I left it there. But eventually, like gold was doing nothing, and I'm just picking, I was basically self-selecting and trying to time the market and shit with my own KiwiSaver, because when you don't have a lot of money, you're trying to find ways to do this stuff, to beat the system and to make a quick buck. Eventually, I got to a point where what are you doing, man? Give that to the professionals and get on with your shit. But anyway, about 53 back in April 2021, and then we kind of hover along, and by the end of, I'll go into 2023, so then I'm at about 60,000 April 2000, that's 2020, wait, I think I've got the dates wrong on here. No, that might be 2022, sorry. Yeah, 2022, April, I've got 60K. And then it's like the market was slow, man. So 56 the next month, 56, 58, 59, 58, 56, 58, 59. I'm contributing in each of these months too. And I started voluntarily putting a little bit more in to try and chase down this bitch of 100K snowball that Charlie Munger was talking about. 60,000 in December 2022. It starts inching up, then we're into 2023, 66, 67, 68. So then I get into April 2023, and next thing I'm at 70, so it's starting to look a lot closer. 71, 73, 76, 77, 75, 73, 76, 81, 83, 90. 96, you know, crazy. It's gone from 90 to 96. And sometimes I was putting a little bit more in, but I was just routinely normally putting in my employee contribution, my employer contribution, and then, you know, a couple of $100 more every week to snowball that. So, you know, I could invest that outside of that. I get that. You don't need to tell me about that. I understand. I chose to do this because I wanted to get it to 100. So anyway, we get into 2024 and it's April and I've got 98,500, and then bang, May 2024, I achieve it. I'm at 101,879. So it's my contributions, employer contributions, government contributions, and then the market, you know, the market moving as well. Yeah, 104, 108, 110, 113, 111, 500. It dips, you know, then it's boom, 121, 121, 127, 126, 122, 122. And then we're into 2025 by this stage, and I start the financial year, so I look at things in financial year because I'm a geeky accountant, okay? So April 2025, I'm at 120. Now get this shit, like listen to this over the last few months. 130, 135, 141, 147. It's gone from 120 to 147, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, you know, generate my KiwiSaver provider having some amazing returns in there, but don't get, like, this is what I used to do. Oh, maybe I should be, you know, doing what he's doing. No, you got to go on your journey. You got to understand where you're going and how it's going to work for you. Like, don't jump around between all of the quick wins. Get directionally correct, and it's boring over time, but pretty cool to see how quickly, like how long it took me to get to 100 grand in my true lifetime. Realistically, by the time I drained it to buying a first home and then selling that property, and so then going back to zero effectively and interrupting compounding. I don't think I took the whole lot out, but anyway, only having 30 maybe 5 years ago to now nearly 5xing that is cool. And, you know, the beautiful thing for this is I can't touch it, so I can't do something stupid, but that's not for everybody. But that's what I do like about KiwiSaver, is it saves Kiwis from themselves, because most of us would try and do shit with it like I did in my 20s. Oh, I'll manage it myself and get these subpar and shit returns, you know, some of the years, but other years I did pretty well. But anyway, you can see that the point of this being that you can see how quickly it does snowball, and that's what Charlie Munger was talking about. So I did a money mail called The Bitch of a First 100K Snowball, and that's what it was about, me going on my goal to try and get my snowball, my KiwiSaver snowball, to 100K so that I could see that happening. Now, I have another $100,000 investment outside of KiwiSaver that's in a fund, and I don't take anything from that. It just compounds, and it's quite interesting, you know, to watch that one grow as well. And yeah, the beauty of compounding, like, you want to learn about it, you want to understand it, but if we think about it, it's April 2024, and I'm just about to go to 100,000, and then it's at 101, it's at 104, 108. So if we just go, okay, we'll say like May, then 12 months later, yes, 12 months later, in only 12 months, in May it's at 130, and then it's at nearly at 150. But if I go to September last year, 2020, it was 113. You know, it's gone from 113 to 147. Now, the markets are frothy and stuff. I expect there'll be some volatility in there, but this is what you've got to go through on your investing journey, is riding some of these highs and lows. And part of why I wanted to do this video is I think we need to encourage like more Kiwi people to talk about their KiwiSaver balances and retirement and their funds and what they've got invested, because too many of us are just looking at the 1%ers. You know, I posted a guy who's got 3 million invested into his Sharesies account, and he's got $10 million. And it's like DMs straight away, personal messages, comments, like, what is it, what is it, what is it? And it's like, man, it doesn't really matter. Like they invested this ages ago. They were also down $1 million at one stage too, you know, but we're just fascinated by the 1%, and that's just one investment stream for that person. So, you know, have a think about what you